So let's dive in a little bit into synchronous teaching, because I know that that's something that you're familiar with, which includes that live online sessions or in person as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are your favorite ARCS aligned strategies to keep students engaged and writing during class that you like to use?
Well, a lot of students see writing as work. They don't really see it as fun. So I always would try and remind students you're going to write something and read something every day for the rest of your life. And when you approach it that way, they kind of realize, yeah, I guess you're right. Whether it's a memo or an email or, some sort of a letter that they have to write, a text message, they're going to be communicating in some written form for the rest of their life. So they might as well learn how to do it effectively, right? So if there's any way that you can get the students' attention early on by like maybe telling them a funny story, an anecdote, or show them an example of the assignment, how it's applied in real life, whether it's a writing assignment or a technology assignment, anything that grabs their attention and shows them, hey, this is a skill you're going to need to have for the rest of your life, not just for this moment, this course, or this college program, but for the rest of your life. So that was something of a challenge for middle school kids, because they don't tend to think about the rest of their lives. They're living in the present. Same with high school kids. They're only living in the present day. So if any advice I could give to teachers is start off with showing them how the assignment is going to be applied in real life. I did that a lot with functional text, teaching students functional text, how they have to fill out a calendar, a job application, a resume, how they have to analyze a table, table content, graphs, anything like that. If you can just show them that example of the assignment in real life, now you have their attention and they're thinking, maybe I should pay attention to this. So that's the first strategy is get their attention right away by showing them examples, real world examples. And then you transition to that relevancy. Because you're still going to have some students say, yeah, that's all well and good, but how is this relevant to me? How am I going to use this in my future? And that's when you start to show them examples of how they're going to need to write, to select a topic, to defend a position, right, for the rest of their lives. They're going to have to know how to effectively communicate a defense of a position. And so that's why I had them learn the argumentative essay in middle school. And now with our college courses, right, we need to teach them how to write, to take a defense on a position and to argue that position judiciously, not with emotional reasoning. So all of that is real world stuff that we have to do. So the ARC model is good, not just for in the classroom, but think of how you use it in your real world living, right? Everyday living, we use this model. So those are some really effective strategies that I use. And then of course, with, like I said, with writing, it's always work. So I try to make it fun and show them that writing doesn't just start with essay, 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 always writing an essay, but maybe breaking it up into chunks that are more fun, that they can see how important the thesis statement is. So we start there, or even the brainstorm. I used to show them fun ways to brainstorm an idea in my classroom. And that made them relax and realize, okay, this could actually be a fun assignment. So those are just some strategies I suggest to some teachers, whether you're teaching college. I used to teach a college presentation course, and my students were 20 somethings. And they were a little invested because they're paying for the class themselves, but they kind of get bored and whatever, that kind of stuff. So I would bring in guest speakers to come in and show them how they're going to need to present ideas and take a position and defend it, in a presentation. And that woke them up. And they thought, oh, wow, I better listen. I'm going to have to do this in the real world, right? So
Exactly.
any way that you can get them excited. And I know in online learning that can be a struggle because a lot of students start the module and then they start to, their mind starts to wander throughout the module. So you have to really get their investment and then carry that through as much as possible.